Sometimes a life can change not in a moment of catastrophe, but in the quiet pause before it. This video is about those rare and critical seconds when the brain calls for help, yet the world around us still looks ordinary. Today we'll talk about early stroke signs, the ones many people miss, and simple actions that can help protect the brain while waiting for medical care. These steps don't replace emergency treatment, but they can support blood flow and calm the body when every second matters. If you or someone you love is over 60, knowing what to do in those first moments can be the difference between recovery and lasting impairment, even between life and death. Welcome to Life After 65. I'm Dr. Eli Morgan. Together we explore how to stay strong, sharp, and deeply alive at every age. Let me begin with a morning I'll never forget. Not because of panic, but because of the power of preparation. It happened to a gentleman in his early 70s. A warm, spirited man named Harold, who started his day like any other. Oatmeal on the stove, the morning news humming softly, sunlight across the kitchen table. And then, suddenly, something in his body hesitated. His right hand paused mid-reach, as though frozen in the air. He tried to speak, but the words caught, tangled and heavy, as if his mouth no longer remembered how to shape them. His wife thought he was choking, but the trouble wasn't in his throat. It was deeper, silent, inside the fragile highways of blood that feed the brain. Yet even in that frightening moment, Harold didn't panic. He remembered something simple, something he had practiced. And those calm seconds, those deliberate, steady breaths, helped him hold on until help arrived. You don't need strength or equipment for what he did, just awareness and a little preparation. And before we learn that method together, there's one essential thing we must understand first. Most strokes do not begin with chaos. They begin with subtle whispers. Before we go deeper, I want to speak to why this matters so much. In my years caring for older adults, I've seen this pattern again and again. Moments when the body gives a quiet warning and the future hangs in the balance. Not in hospitals or emergency rooms, but at breakfast tables, in living rooms, during peaceful mornings just like Harold's. I've spent more than 3 decades studying the aging brain, watching its resilience, its remarkable ability to heal, and sometimes its vulnerability. And the truth is simple. Awareness doesn't just save time. It saves ability, speech, mobility, memory, independence. Everything we treasure about life after 65 depends on blood reaching the brain. You don't need fear to protect yourself. You just need understanding and a plan you can remember if life suddenly asks you to act. So let's take this step by step, quietly, clearly, and together. Because when you feel prepared, you don't panic. You breathe, you think, you respond, and you stay in control. Stroke reality. Every year, thousands of older adults face a stroke, and often it arrives quietly. Not with dramatic collapse, but with a brief stumble, a misplaced word, or a sudden wave of dizziness dismissed as just tiredness. Strokes don't wait for convenience. They don't pause for us to gather our thoughts or finish breakfast. And as we age, the risk increases, not because we've done anything wrong, but because the blood vessels that have carried us through decades of life can grow narrower, stiffer, more fragile. Here's what we must remember. Time is not the enemy. Hesitation is. The brain needs steady blood flow the way a garden needs water. When that flow slows or stops, even for a moment, the cells that help us speak, move, think, and remember begin to struggle. But here's the hopeful truth. Those first few minutes are not powerless. They are an opportunity, a window where calm awareness and simple action can support blood flow and protect precious brain function until medical help arrives. And it all begins by recognizing the earliest signals. Let's look at those next. The first subtle signs: awareness without fear. Most strokes don't announce themselves with dramatic collapse. They whisper first, and those whispers are easy to overlook. Maybe a hand feels oddly heavy, as though you're wearing a glove you can't quite remove. Maybe your speech feels thick, like your tongue is tired. Or you suddenly lose balance while sitting, not standing. A moment that feels off, not catastrophic. Sometimes a spoon slips from the fingers. Sometimes a familiar word feels strangely distant. Sometimes vision wavers, not darkness, just a blur. And then it fades. Everything feels normal again, and that's where danger hides. When a warning comes and goes, many people think, I'm fine now, I just need a minute. It's natural to hope the body will sort itself out quietly, but we don't treat chest pain that way. We don't ignore sudden breathlessness, and we shouldn't dismiss the brain asking for help either. A brief warning is not a false alarm. It's your body tapping you on the shoulder saying, please act now. That early awareness isn't fear. It's powering to you, and it gives you choices. What's really happening? To understand why those moments matter, it helps to picture what's going on inside the brain. Think of your brain as a beautiful tree. Branches reaching in every direction, carrying signals, memories, balance, speech. Every part of who you are. And your blood? That's the water and sunlight feeding it. When a small clot drifts into the bloodstream and slows flow to one branch, the signals flicker. Not always for long, sometimes only seconds. But the tree feels it. A part of you feels it. This isn't the body failing. It's the body signaling. It's saying something needs attention. In many cases, the blockage isn't complete at first. Blood may still squeeze through or reroute briefly. That tiny window, before a full blockage, and is where awareness matters most. And here's the hopeful part. Even in those early moments, the brain can respond to calm breathing and proper positioning. It's not a cure, that's what emergency care is for, but it helps support circulation until help arrives. Your body wants to protect you. Our job is to work with it. Next, let's talk about how. Now that we understand why these early signals matter, let's talk about what to do when they appear. And let me reassure you, nothing here requires strength, special training, or equipment. Just calm, steady action, and a little preparation. In a moment, I'll guide you through the same simple steps I teach my patients and their families. Think of this as learning a safety skill, one you hope you never need, but will be grateful to have. What happens during a stroke? Let's picture it in another simple way. Imagine a city at night, homes lit, streetlights glowing, traffic moving smoothly. Each light represents a part of your brain. Speech over here, memory over there, balance, movement, vision. A beautiful network, all working quietly for you every moment. Now imagine one of the main power lines feeding that city becomes pinched. Not cut completely, just squeezed. For a moment, lights flicker. Some shut off, then come back. The city isn't destroyed, but it's warning you. Something is interrupting the flow. That's how many strokes begin. Not as total blackouts, but as flickers. Brief disruptions in blood reaching the brain's neighborhoods. And in those fragile moments, the body still has a chance to protect, to stabilize, to hold on, if we respond with calm clarity. Let's look at the signs your body uses to send those first signals. The early warning signals. Recognizing the body's whisper. So what do those flickers look like? Here are the most common early signs the brain may be struggling. Sudden weakness or numbness, especially on one side. Difficulty finding words or speech that suddenly sounds thick or slurred. A smile that looks uneven, or facial muscles that feel heavy. Unexpected loss of balance or coordination. Vision suddenly blurred or doubled in one eye or both. A sudden, sharp headache, unlike your usual patterns. Sometimes these signs last a minute, sometimes less. And then they fade, and that's when many people tell themselves it went away, so it must not matter. But the disappearing symptoms are often the most important ones to catch. They're signals, not accidents. Tiny flares from the brain. Think of them as gentle taps on the shoulder. Pay attention. Take action. And if we do, we give ourselves the best chance for protection. Now, let's talk about what those first actions should be. Why quick response matters. When blood flow to the brain slows, even briefly, brain cells begin to struggle. But here's the encouraging truth many people don't hear enough. The brain can weather those first moments far better when we stay calm and support circulation. Medical studies have shown that people who recognize symptoms early and take stabilizing steps while waiting for help often experience better outcomes and faster recovery. Not because these actions replace medical care, they don't, but because they help the brain hold steady until professionals arrive. Think of it like helping a ship stay afloat in rough water. You're not steering it to shore. You're keeping it stable until rescue gets there. And that stability buys precious time. You're not helpless in those early minutes. Awareness and calm action create space for the brain to keep fighting for you. Now, let's go through the steps together, slowly and clearly. These simple stabilization steps, calm action while help arrives. If you ever notice sudden slurred speech, weakness on one side, or vision changes, even if they seem mild, here's what to do. Take a slow breath. Tell yourself, I know the steps. I am in control right now. Then, 1. Sit or lie down immediately. The very first priority is safety. You don't want to fall or strain your body. If you can, lie flat on your back. If lying down isn't possible, sitting safely with support is still helpful. 2. Elevate the legs slightly. If you are lying flat, gently raise your legs. A cushion, a pillow, or even resting your legs on a low chair can help. Elevating the legs encourages blood to return toward the chest and head, supporting circulation to the brain. 3. Breathe slowly and purposefully. This part matters just as much. Slow breathing helps calm the nervous system, steadies the heart, and supports oxygen delivery. Let's practice together. Right now, inhale gently through your nose for a count of 4. Hold for 2. Exhale slowly through your mouth for 6. Again, in for 4. Hold and out for 6. You don't need force. You don't need deep dramatic breaths. Just quiet, steady rhythm, like calming a rippled pond. 4. Stay still and call for emergency help as soon as you can. Or if someone is with you, ask them immediately. Call emergency services. Let them know symptoms started suddenly and note the time. Staying still helps your body conserve oxygen and focus on maintaining blood flow to the brain. These steps don't fix a stroke. Only medical treatment can do that. But they help you protect your brain in the gap between the first symptom and the arrival of trained professionals. And most importantly, you are not waiting helplessly. You are taking smart, steady action to support your body. In crisis, clarity is strength, and now you have a plan. Why many seniors? Hesitate, compassion, not blame. Now you might wonder, if these steps are simple, why don't more people take them right away? Because many of us grew up believing strength means pushing through, not complaining, not making a fuss. We were raised to tough things out, to rest, to wait, to see if it passes. That mindset served us in many seasons of life. But with the brain, silence is not strength. Awareness is. Recognizing a warning sign and acting quickly is not panic. It's wisdom. It's courage. It's protecting your independence, your voice, your ability to move and think clearly. If a friend felt chest pain, we'd encourage them to act, not wait. We deserve that same care ourselves. Strength isn't pushing through symptoms. Strength is knowing when to respond. Building the reflex. Here's something I've learned after decades in medicine. In stressful moments, we don't rise to our best intentions. We fall to our level of preparation. And the good news? Preparation can be gentle. It can take just a minute a week. Try this simple exercise. Sit comfortably. Imagine that sensation in a hand suddenly weak or words feeling slow. No panic, we are just awareness. Then practice the steps. Sit or lie back. Lift your legs slightly. Take a slow breath in and a longer breath out. Imagine asking someone near you to call for help, or picture pressing the emergency number yourself. This is not dramatizing fear. It's rehearsing safety, just like a fire drill. Something you hope you never need, but feel calmer knowing. With repetition, your body remembers. Your breath stays steady. Your mind stays clear. Preparedness isn't worry. It's peace. The brain can rebuild. I want to pause here and offer something deeply important. Even when a stroke does occur, the story doesn't end there. The brain is remarkable. It is not a fixed machine. It's a living network. When one pathway slows or struggles, others can learn to take over. We call this neuroplasticity, and I've witnessed its power again and again. I've seen hands regain steadiness, voices return strength, memories reconnect like lights coming back on after a storm. Sometimes it takes days, sometimes months. But the brain can surprise us in the most beautiful ways. How does recovery grow? Through gentle movement, calm breathing, consistent daily practice, food that supports circulation, rest that allows healing. You don't need perfection. You need persistence. Small, steady steps. Moments of intention rather than hours of effort. Your brain wants to heal. Our job is simply to give it the chance. Protecting your brain daily. Small habits, big impact. Let's shift from emergency moments to everyday living, because protecting the brain isn't only about reacting. It's about preparing the body to thrive long before a crisis ever comes. One of the most powerful ways to support brain health is simply to get the blood moving each morning. Nothing strenuous, just gentle activation. When you wake up, before reaching for the phone or standing quickly, sit at the edge of the bed and take 3 slow breaths. Flex your ankles, lifting your heels and toes a few times. Roll your shoulders and softly turn your neck side to side. Drink a small glass of water, warm if you like. Your brain loves hydration. These tiny movements cue the body. Wake up, circulate, protect. Add a short walk later in the day, even around the living room or yard, and you feed your brain oxygen, movement, and sunlight. And remember, food as medicine. Leafy greens, berries, olive oil, salmon or walnuts, and plenty of water. They don't just nourish the body. They help keep blood flowing freely and arteries flexible. Small routines repeated do more than heavy effort done once. Consistency, not intensity, is what keeps us sharp, steady, and vibrant as we grow older. Every gentle step, every breath, every glass of water is a quiet investment in your independence. It's not about adding more to your day. It's about choosing habits that add more life to your years. Let's take a breath together. You've just learned something that many people go through life never hearing, not in doctors' offices, not on the news, not even from friends who've experienced a stroke. You now understand the early whispers, the quiet signals, and the simple steps that can help support the brain in those first precious minutes. And if that moment ever comes, for you or for someone sitting across the kitchen table, you won't be caught in confusion or fear. You'll remember. Sit or lie down. Lift the legs a little. Breathe slow and long. Call for help. Stay calm and still. Awareness is not anxiety. Preparation is not worry. They are acts of self-respect and love for the life you still have to live. Aging isn't about surrendering. It's about understanding your body more deeply than ever and working with it with patience and grace. If this message touched you or taught you something new, consider passing it forward. Share it with someone you care about, a partner, a sibling, a neighbor, a friend in your church group, or walking club, because knowledge like this is a gift. One that can protect a life before anyone even reaches the hospital. Thank you for spending this time with me. Stay aware, stay gentle with yourself, and keep choosing the habits that let you feel steady, safe, and wonderfully alive. Until next time, I'm Dr. Eli Morgan. Take good care.